This is the coach. Welcome to the show. The chef is cyborg, saving sports radio. Football addicts, since they learn how to walk. Been giving 2 cents since they learn how to talk. Yo, it's me, Gray Cloud. Know the voice of New York. The highs, the lows, the wins, the bosses. You ain't a damn loser if you took some losses. Put the gloves on. Let's see who's the softest.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's been a minute since we've been back on. I talked to Coach Dave a little while ago. It was not our fault. Our shit got pulled down from YouTube because people got potty mouths. But we're going to stick to football. We like the way it is. It's easier for us because football is once a week. We can give you enough attention once a week. We can talk some football, mix it in. I was going to talk about a lot of things. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to keep it Giants, Jets, Bills at the moment. The first thing I'm going to say outside of that is it annoyed me that everybody made a race car thing when it came to Shedeur Sanders and his fall. Let me explain something to you this way. Tom Brady went in like the 6th round. Brock Purdy, and I'm not comparing Brock Purdy to Tom Brady. He's the last pick in the draft. Aaron Rodgers slipped. Brady Quinn slipped. Russell Wilson went into the 3rd, almost 4th round. He won the Super Bowl, should have 2. There's a lot of quarterbacks that slip. Now, let me explain this to you guys in the way that I see it. I don't think Deion, and I'm a big primetime fan. Coach Dave knows I love primetime. He is my favorite football player of all time. He did his sons no justice, or at least Shedeur, talking about he's only going to play for a few teams. Now, Shedeur, reports came out, he was sandbagging interviews because he didn't want to play for certain teams as well. So the NFL is a small community. You all might think that it's a big thing because it's a worldwide thing. No, there's only 32 owners in the NFL. These guys start speaking, oh, man, he came in here acting like this, he acting like that. And they're like, I don't want that on my team. So I don't want to hear shit because, listen, it happens. Also, the prank call thing. Let me explain something to you guys as well for the prank call. I can't remember the other guy. Now, he was a white player who he got a prank call this year as well. You've been drafted. Oh, you know you're not. And last year, Cooper DeJean, Super Bowl champion Cooper DeJean, he got a prank call saying, we're going to draft you. It's the same thing. All right? So when it comes to it, do I like these prank calls? No. I think it's fucking stupid because this is somebody's moment. I don't care if people like the kid or not. This is someone's moment, and they should be able to enjoy that moment for whatever it is. You see the same kind of excitement when you see a guy get drafted in the 7th round as the 1st round because all their hard work and their dreams have been accomplished to play into the NFL. So I don't like the shit. I don't think it's funny. I hope it never happens again. But when it comes to Shedeur, I think he also did himself no justice. Now the problem is in Cleveland, you got Deshaun Watson, who I'm not sure when his timetable is to come back.
He's done.
Sure, but he costs too much to get rid of.
Absolutely.
That's a fully guaranteed you're stuck. So I don't know when he's coming back, but that's one quarterback. You just took back Joe Flacco, right? Then you first traded a Kenny Pickett, and I'm not acting like Kenny Pickett is a lock to challenge for a starting job. I'm not acting like that, but you traded for this guy for a reason. So you gave up something to go get this kid. That's 3 quarterbacks already. Then you go draft Dylan Gabriel. So, and which is one of my favorite quarterbacks. You draft Dylan Gabriel. And then you draft Shedeur, which I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You can't carry 5 quarterbacks.
Oh, someone's getting traded again.
Someone's getting traded. And at most, go ahead.
I was saying, or cut.
Now, the problem is, on game day, usually you're only carrying 2 quarterbacks, right?
Right. Maybe a 3rd.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's barely.
And that's bare. That's depending on what you've seen during the week. If you feel your starter, might, be tweaking something or not 100%, or the backup, and you're like, whatever happens, I got my option. So at most it's 3. You got 2 other guys. You're not carrying them. You got a 53-man. What? Oh no, did they go up to 55? I think it's still 53, right?
I think it's 53, but they're talking about going up to 55. So it might get
Okay.
there by the time they start.
All right. So let's just say 55. Okay, cool. Now running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive line. That's
Wow.
five. Off.
Yep.
That's five starters off the rip.
Exactly.
You know, and your offensive line and defensive line, they interchange because those guys get banged up so much, you know, through Sunday that you're like, oh man, I'm hurting. I might need a game. So you got so many guys that you have to fit into this 53, maybe 55. Two of these quarterbacks ain't sitting around.
I know.
And are you going to say, well, all right, we drafted Dylan in what I think it was the third round?
Yeah, he was a third-round pick. Yeah.
So are you going to give Dylan a shorter leash than the fourth round Shador?
He
Right?
was fifth round.
Fifth round. You're right. 144.
Yeah.
Fifth round. So your third round guy, usually you give a little more leash to than your fifth round guy. You
Right.
know? And your fifth, sixth, seventh, they get just a little more leash than your undrafted.
Right.
You know, so I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel. I'm glad he got drafted. He better come in with the most humblest of attitudes ever. I'm not saying that he has to lose that arrogant edge to him. I'm not saying that because that's what makes him him. But you got to shut your mouth up and let your game do the play. Like,
yeah, well, he's got to tell his father to keep his mouth shut too and just let him play. Because here's the thing: both of us, I think, can agree. We didn't think he was a top 5 pick anyway.
No.
I don't really care about that. I do believe that if it wasn't for his dad and for him sandbagging some interviews, that the Saints might have taken him at 8. Because I think he would have fit in the Saints. But like you said, he sandbagged a couple of interviews. His dad was full blown. He ain't playing for this team. So, like you said, NFL is a fraternity. All the owners got together to remind Dion, listen, you were prime time when you were in the NFL.
Yep.
You're not in the NFL anymore. We run this shit. So they let his son drop and drop and drop. The only thing I don't understand is why Cleveland, like you said, you drafted the kid Dylan in the 3rd round. Why did you trade back up into the 5th round to then draft Sanders, who you knew no one was taking? You could have stayed where you were.
Yep.
And he would have fell right to you because no one would. They were going to let him go undrafted. I guarantee you that was.
Oh, yeah. I think that. I do believe that.
Because you saw nobody wanted to touch him. You know, and listen, he may not have the strongest arm, but he's an accurate quarter. He's decent. He should have been probably a 2nd, 3rd round pick.
Yep.
But we all agree. I didn't see him as a first rounder, even though Mel Kiper's like, oh my God, he's a first round pick. This is her. Relax yourself, Mel. All right, calm down. You struck out on a lot of fucking picks at quarterback. So stop. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, I mean, Mel Kiper is a guy that knows a lot more than the average Joe. But still, he was just sold up on Dion. He was on the hype and everything. So he was pushing his whole agenda. So whatever, I get it. It doesn't matter. But like you said, now he's gonna have to eat some humble pie. And he's going to have to put it to work in. But like you said, here's the problem. You have way too many quarterbacks. 2 of them got to go. So it's either you're releasing somebody or you're trading somebody. Flacco, I mean, I guess you want to keep him because he's the only veteran presence. He's probably
the starter. He knows their system too.
That too. So he's probably their starter. But you can't bank on him playing the whole year. So you need a good quarterback. Backup. Okay, Pickett, this guy's been around. So you figure, okay, journeyman, but he fits. But here's the thing. Now you have 2 rookies that you drafted. One of them has to get on the roster at the very least. And, well, I guess you're hoping that maybe you play both and someone has a good training camp and maybe you get somebody that's interested that don't have a quarterback that'll bite on him. But here's the problem. All the people in Cleveland are not going to want to see Dylan at quarterback.
No.
They want to see Shador.
Yep.
You brought in Shador, so now it's prime time. Now, if he comes out and he flames out, okay, boom, that makes it easier for you. I don't know if he'll flame out, but is he going to get a legit chance? And are the people around him going to want to play with him? Because if he doesn't bring it, on a daily basis, they're going to be like, well, F you. This ain't Colorado, bro. You don't come play. You ain't playing in the NFL. So it's up to him to see, like you said, I don't want him to lose that swagger, that confidence, that arrogance, because that's what makes him him. And you need that. But there's a fine line between being, confident and very arrogant. He's got to learn that because this is the NFL now. So I hope that he can do something. I mean, Cleveland, they were smart when they fleeced Jacksonville for the 2nd pick because I don't think I don't think Cleveland really wanted to draft Travis Hunter, but they knew that there was a lot of teams that wanted him, and they found the Jaguars that were desperate enough to jump ahead because Giants weren't going to take him unless maybe because if Cleveland would have took Carter, maybe the Giants consider it. But I don't know if that was the case, but who knows? And we all know New England wasn't going to take him because they were hell-bent on that offensive lineman, the kids that they did draft.
Love what he said too.
You know what I'm saying? Jacksonville could have stayed at 5, and he could have fell right to them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that now it's funny because I was talking with a Cleveland guy, and at first this guy hated me because a few years ago I went on like Twitter or X, and I did what I always joke with you, like Cleveland needs to hire Sonny Weaver, right? The crazy part is I don't know if this is true, but he showed me a picture that Kevin Costner, the day before the draft, was in Cleveland. Someone took a picture and Kevin Costner was there. So I'm not saying Sonny Weaver fucking fleeced the Jags, right? But I mean, Kevin Costner's in Cleveland. All I'm saying is maybe he was there and he made. Listen, Cleveland has never done this good in the draft. So Kevin Costner, salute to you. If you were there, you were there. But no, my thing is I think that if Shador plays this smart, plays his role, does what he has to do, I think in a few years, Dion is going to be in Dallas. And I think Dion brings his son over to see what he can do as a starter. I think that's the one way he could try to get his son to be something. Dak will become a free agent in like 2 years. Dion finishes his program shit, and maybe he comes over and puts his son on. Who knows? But I just think that Cleveland's got a mess at quarterback, and it's kind of like with Tim Tebow. Remember when Tim Tebow he went to the Jets, and as soon as Sanchez was playing bad, we want Tebow, right?
Right.
Anywhere Tebow goes, people want Tebow because he's like this good Christian guy. Like everybody loves him.
But it wasn't much of a quarterback.
No. But there are quarterbacks that you see in systems that when the starter gets hurt or whatever, we want this guy now. Not even hurt, like one pick off, we want him gone, we want this guy. Mm-hmm. And Shador's going to be the guy that those fans keep chanting for.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think Dylan has no chance, which is crazy.
I know.
And 5 quarterbacks, 2 got to go.
Right. It's just crazy. I don't get it, man. They're dysfunctional in Cleveland. That's why that team, that organization, they don't win. They don't know what they're doing over there. Because why on earth do you draft a kid in the 3rd round and then trade up or even draft Sanders at all? It makes no sense. Yeah. And like you said, I could see Dion eventually making a push into the NFL. And if Jerry Jones is still alive and not passed away, Dallas is definitely a destination because he loves Dion. So that could be one place he would.
He also came out on his podcast, said he was courting Dion big time, and Dion was like, "No, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing." And he was like, "I want to hear
in Colorado."
Yeah, and it's smart by Dion to stay there. It's smart. Build up your thing. You don't got to deal with the egos and everything.
But if he sees his son struggling and he thinks he can come in and save him, he's going because he's still prime time and he still carries some weight even though he's not in. But he gets in. If someone takes like Jerry Jones, the only one I think would take a chance. The only other owner I think that would be crazy enough to maybe do it, and because Tom Brady was there and they kind of wanted Shador, is the Raiders. Those are the only 2 organizations I think that Dion would, not that they're great, but Dallas would be the more ideal because America's team, boom, boom, boom. But depending which way it goes, Dion, those are the 2 teams I think if he did decide to come, would be the 2 teams that ideally would go after him. I don't think the other owners are going to want to deal with that prime time stuff.
No. So we'll transition to what our topics are going to be going forward. We're going to start with the New York Giants, Big Blue, who, when we were talking before this and while we were watching the draft, I loved what the Giants were doing. I was like, yo, I'm a fan. Now, when we say this, we mean it with all respect. On paper, this is a phenomenal draft for the New York Giants because we're saying what we've seen in college, we're not saying it's going to transition over, but projection-wise from college to what we see, I love what they did. They go get arguably what people thought was the best player in the draft, falls to them, and they get Abdul Carter. Everybody loved Abdul Carter. There was no downside to him. The guy is a beast.
Yeah,
so,
he's a huge pass rusher. Definitely helps.
Yeah, big time pass rusher. We don't know what's going to happen with Thibodeau, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Kayvon, whatever. If Thibodeau was the coach of the Knicks. I'm messing this guy's name up. But we don't know what's going to happen with him. But as of right now, their line looks really freaking dangerous.
Yeah, so, I think now they're going to keep him because they were dangling him potentially to trade in the draft. But like you said, since this was probably their best draft in years, like you said, it's on paper because some of these guys will see if they actually pan out. But if the quarterback Dart turns out to be legit, then it's a home run for them because Scabo from Arizona State, that kid's a beast. He's going to be he's like the Brandon Jacobs. He's going to bring the pound. He's the Thunder. Yep. Tracy wasn't bad last year, so he could be the mini Lightning. He's not got the exact speed that like when Tiki and Amar Bradshaw and all those guys had, but it might have a version of that again. And the line, they've improved it a little bit. The defensive line is huge because they've added a lot where they can rotate, and that's where the Giants were really good when they were able to rotate their defensive linemen. The whole thing, though, with the Giants is do they have enough on offense? Is the offensive line going to hold up? And they still don't have another guy to put besides Neighbors. That's going to be the thing. They don't have that legit other guy. That's the one thing I thought maybe they were going to try to find in the draft because there was some really good receivers. But all the guys the Giants did pick were picks that they needed to take. They were like value picks. Like these were the guys that they needed to fill the holes that they had. Unfortunately, the only thing they didn't fill was getting that other receiver. So the only thing is maybe they trade that kid to bring in a receiver. But if you're going to trade him, you better get yourself a top-notch receiver. Not some has-been, whatever. It's got to be one of those marquees, a legit number 2, because you're not going to get a 1 for him. But you got to get if you're going to move him, you need a legit 2. Someone you could put next to Neighbors, and then you're a beast. I mean, I wish they could have gotten that kid from Penn State to tight end, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. He was going to fall. Even though he did fall down further than I thought, Giants had no shot. But at least they got the running back. The kid, I wanted that kid. I didn't think we were going to get him. To me, I think that's a steal because he's old school. He's like a Mike Allstott, Tom Rathman, those kind of guys. He's going to slam through the hole, and he ain't care who's there. He's going to run you over. Sometimes he might get knocked back, but more often than not, he's going to run you over.
And he can catch out the backfield too.
Exactly. Don't sleep on him. He's a big guy, but he's pretty good, man. So I like what they did because the last couple of years it's been hit or miss, and they've missed tremendously over the last few years. Like you said, on paper, this definitely is their best draft in years. Hopefully it pans out. The biggest thing is really, does Dart turn into the guy, or is he? Hopefully he ain't Daniel Jones Part 2. That's done. We'll see.
I was sitting here, and I know they got the Darius Alexander kid too in 3rd round. He looked good. Scooter Bro, however you say his name. I've been a fan of him. You've been a fan of him. We love his game. If they fix that offensive line, a guy like Tyrone Tracy could be super dangerous.
Right, exactly. And then you got a good cutback combo, 1-2 punch.
So if you sit there and what they don't understand, even when the run game's not working and you run it enough, in that 4th quarter, those defensive linemen are super tired.
Yeah, you wear them down. Exactly. And then a guy like Skibble will run them over.
Exactly. So you have a beautiful 1-2 going in. I don't think we see Dart this year, and I
wouldn't, unless like Russell gets hurt and Winston. There's no reason. Let him sit a year and learn. This is what they used to do. Let the guy take a year to learn and then come in. Because throwing him in the fire, there's very few who are able to go in and do that. Some of those guys are thrown in the fire and they flame out, and then their career's over. So
I'm 100% with you, and I think this is why we talked about this when we were talking about Russell Wilson coming in with the Giants, that if they draft a quarterback this year, I don't care what you say, you never heard no bad shit behind Russell Wilson, no DUIs, no domestic violences, no bad nothing. He's a smart quarterback as well. I would love to be able to have an opportunity to put a young quarterback behind a veteran like that, who's going to lead him in the right direction and not give him up because, Pete over there talking about, oh, yeah, we can have Aaron Rodgers for a year. So you want your rookie to sit behind this douche. And what's he going to learn from him?
I'm glad they did not. If I was Pittsburgh, I wouldn't even bother with him with the nonsense he did. Pittsburgh should just be like, forget that. And they may, who knows, Pittsburgh may trade for a quarterback because they don't have one. And I don't know why they're still banking on Rodgers.
I mean, depending on what happens at camp, we can see maybe a 6th or 7th for Shador or Dylan, whoever they're willing to part with.
But
I think that could be a play. But right now, my thing is with the Giants, and hold on, and get to what you want to get to. My only worry for the Giants is if they don't have the season they have, right? Obviously, you're not worried about Wilson and Winston because you have Dart. Dart is the future. But now you got to come in and try to teach this young kid another system, right? Because another quarterback's going to come in, a coach, and he's going to bring in his guys, and it's going to be a new system. Right. So you're like, you want some kind of stability to come behind, and I think that's where guys like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson's, all these guys that have been in the same system have all excelled. Herbert, all those guys.
Right.
Giants need to get this together. I do not like Dable. I do not. But at the same time, if he stinks it up, the next guy you got to bring in has to be here no less than 3 years. The round table thing, it can't keep happening because you'll just kill this kid, and that's Absolutely.
That. I agree. And the only thing I was going to say is I don't think Cleveland would trade to Pittsburgh. I don't think they're going to trade within the division.
That's true. That's
the only thing. So, but yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I mean, between he learned from Russell Wilson, and Eli Manning's going to be around, so he could pick his brain too. So, plus he came from Ole Miss where he broke all Eli's records. So, if he can handle the pressure in New York like Eli, then he'll be fine. Because Eli, say what you want, but that man was a smooth operator in New York. City wanted to rip him apart, but he was unflappable.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Eli gets a lot of shit. Do I think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer? I've always said yes. I know people will feel that when he was great, he was great. When he was bad, he was bad. Oh, yeah, that's how it fucking works. Can't be great all the time, right? Like,
absolutely.
Only very few, even when the teams are bad, are great. But Eli did what other people couldn't. And I'm not saying Eli won the Super Bowls by himself.
No, but he won in New York. He made the growth he needed to make.
Exactly.
I mean, look at that throw he made to Mario Manningham. That was nobody's making a better throw than that, dude. That was insane. The Tyreek Hill, that one was a miracle catch, but that throw to Manningham was
crazy.
Insane. And Manningham, the way he kept his feet in, that was even phenomenal too, how he makes that catch.
A lot of people forget about Mario Manningham, but the guy was a talented player. Like say whatever.
I like him.
He might not have been a super all pro or all this other bullshit, but he's the kind of guy you want. He's going to lay out and make whatever catch he can. So, like I said, on paper, I love what the Giants did.
The only problem for the Giants is that the Redskins and the Eagles are still really good. And the Redskins had a very good offseason. They might not have drafted much, but they didn't have to. They made some big free agent signings. And listen, Jaden Daniels, he looks like he's the truth. So you're going to have to beat him up to try to have a chance. So at least the Giants got some defensive linemen they could throw at these two. But between Hurts and Daniels, it's going to be tough for the Giants. And Dak's always Dak. In the regular season, he's going to put his numbers up. I mean, to be honest, even though the Giants, I think, hit it out of the park in the draft this year, they're still going to be in trouble in their division because they're still probably the fourth best team in their division. Unless
there's 17 games. This is what I keep trying to tell people. There's 17 games in the season. It might not sound a lot, but when you're playing 17 games, a lot on your body.
Absolutely.
But 17 games, 6 of them come from your division.
Yeah.
4 or 2 come from the freaking Super Bowl champs.
Right.
And we've seen how Washington progressed.
Yeah.
So, do they take a step back? I don't know. But on paper,
exactly,
right now, that is a scary team that I could see win that division.
Yeah, and
because
Philly's still dangerous.
they're prepared. That team is stacked to go against Philadelphia.
Absolutely. That's what they did. They built that team to beat Philly.
Yeah. Oh, no question. And then you go, all right, if Dak's healthy, okay, let's see what Dallas gives us, you know. And if you split with Dallas, okay, you're 1-1, right? But then the other two, those are going to be tough wins.
I know.
So
you'd want to go like 4-2 in your division, and that would be for the Giants right now. That's going to be tough to do something like that.
Like realistically, you would love a 3-3, right?
Yes, right.
But I could see a 2-4.
I know that's the problem, right?
Right.
You could walk away happy with 3-3. I don't know if that does anything for you, but 3-3, all right, 500 in division, not bad. Then you're gonna have to squeeze and steal a game on the road against one of those teams. So, I don't know. I just don't think I like what they did. I'm happy that they finally had a good draft, but I just don't know if they haven't. These other teams are just really so far ahead of them right now. But football's, you know, like they say, on any given Sunday, anything can happen. So you never know if the Giants come together and they truly believe. That's a weapon that you can't, you know, that's tough. When you get a team that can believe, we've been a part of teams like that. You pull off these runs that people don't expect because you believe that's all you need. And once everybody believes, anything can happen. So we'll see.
Oh yeah. I mean, and like I said, I love their defensive line. I love what Abdul Carter is going to bring for that team. The last thing I'll ask you about the Giants before we even go into the Jets, would you be opposed to them bringing in Armani Cooper? He's a free agent.
Actually, I wouldn't mind signing him. He would be the kind of guy that could help out because he could run that slot. Neighbors can be that outside guy. Amani Cooper, he's still got some legs in him. He still can play. I wouldn't mind that actually. Would be. I don't think they'll do it, but actually he wouldn't be bad. That would be a pretty good fit. I mean, he's probably gonna want to go to a team though that's definitely more of a contender for the Super Bowl. So I don't know if he would want the Giants, and I don't know if they're actually looking for him. But yeah, I like that. That would be a nice pickup if they were to do it. But whether they do or not, I don't know. But I like that idea. That would be a good one.
All right, we're good with that. I figured you might like that one. So with the 7th pick in the first round, the Jets take Armand Mambeau or Mambu, however you say his name, tackle. Love that pick. I'm like, all right, cool. Then they go Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU. I like that pick. Something Thomas, cornerback, Florida State. I'm like, all right, they got to replace who's the other corner aside of Sauce? Yeah, I think he left. DJ Reed, I think he left. So you're like, all right. Ryan Smith, I was like, Malachi Moore, Who else? Tyler Barron, don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's their picks, right? And I was like, usually I'm high on the Jets. I love the offensive tackle. The tight end, I was like, all right. I know you're trying to give Pickett. Oh my God, the kid from Pittsburgh just came over.
To the Jets?
Yeah, the quarterback.
Oh, you're talking about Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
No, Justin Fields is Philadelphia.
No, Philadelphia is Jalen Hurts.
Oh, Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Jalen Hurts. My bad.
No, it's all right.
Justin Fields comes over. You obviously have Wilson, the wide receiver, who hated playing with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So you get Rodgers away. You hope you get back in this guy's good graces because you don't want to lose a player like that. So they were dangling Breece Hall, according to rumors. He didn't get traded. So you got your running back. You have your wide receiver, and now you sit back and you go, all right, we need something else. You go get yourself a tight end. I know that the quarterback's best friend at times.
Right.
It's all going to depend on that offensive line, and I don't think they did enough to fix that offensive line.
Yeah, they're still a mess. I mean, the only good thing is Darrelle Revis, he knows what it takes to win there. He's been there. Hopefully, maybe. Oh, yeah, that's one. Yeah. Right, Aaron Glenn. Right. So he's been there. Hopefully, he can change the culture. Obviously, he's going to want to try to do some of what they did in Detroit there, but he doesn't have the same personnel. That's obvious. I guess he was trying to find some of that in the draft, but I mean, I don't know. Their draft, other than that lineman, which, like you said, they hit it out of the park with him. He's a home run. He's going to be a left tackle that he'll protect the blind side for sure for Justin Fields. But do they have enough? Their defense was decent last year, so they're okay defensively. But offensively, like you said, their offensive line, there's still question marks there. And do they have enough on the outside besides Wilson? I mean, did they keep Devontae Adams? I don't know if he still stayed with the Jets or they cut him. But
No, he signed with the Rams.
oh, he left. So yeah. So then
Yeah.
they don't really have much. I don't think the Jets offensively. But I mean, listen, they're kind of in a whole rebuild. I mean, they're rolling the dice that maybe Justin Fields can be their franchise quarterback. I mean, he's going to get a fresh start. He's going to be given an opportunity. I mean, he did okay in Pittsburgh. I mean, the man had a winning record before they benched him, but obviously
Yep.
they did that because the guy they benched him for was a Super Bowl caliber quarterback who won the Super Bowl before, and he had a good run, but then he flamed out towards the end. But it is what it is. I mean, we'll see. The kid had potential. We'll see if it plays out. I mean, the Jets, they didn't cost him nothing, so they roll the dice. And then Glenn's going to hope that he can just mold that team somewhat to the way they had it over in Detroit. But he does not have the same personnel at all.
Yeah, no, for sure. The thing is, and this is why I keep trying to tell Jets fans, don't get too excited for next year. Next year don't even matter.
Right.
Because
I agree.
Glenn he's got to build his foundation. This is his foundation year.
Absolutely.
Let him build his blueprint. Don't have expectations. We want him fired. Give this guy an opportunity to build his culture. And if anyone knows the Jets, or like we give shit to Jets because, the Jets have been bad pretty much our entire lives. But he understands what it means to be a Jet. He understands what it is to have that crowd, that gang green support the product. Give this guy a legit opportunity to lead because the owner is trash. We all know the owner he's terrible. But let this guy have an opportunity to do what he does. Like we always say, you got to fix your team from the inside out. Like your trenches, they got to be great.
That's the thing, right? You want to win, you win from the offensive, defensive lines. You get them built, you can that's it.
Yeah, you dictate what you want. So the Bills. Now, I was a big Will Johnson fan. I heard about this injury. I didn't know much about it. I heard he had a leg injury, but he was going to play in the beginning of the season. So I'm like, okay, dope. Now, when the Bills are drafting 30, and Will Johnson's supposed to be a top 10, top 15 pick, he falls to 30, and I'm like, oh, shit. The Bills got to take Will Johnson. They pass on him. Then I find out that he has some kind of injury or I don't want to say disease, but there's something in his leg that's going to get worse over time.
Right.
So they're saying
scared a lot of teams away from him.
Yeah, he has a shorter shelf life than a long-term one. And with a first-round pick, I'm trying to build someone for the future,
right.
Not that. So they went with Maxwell Hairston. I'm like, okay, now this is what pisses me off with Bills fans because, I'm cool with Bills fans.
Yeah.
Bro, everybody, there's like 6 guys drop and there's 2 picks right before Buffalo, everybody's got lists of who they want. Oh, look at all these guys dropping, right? No one had Maxwell Hairston on their list. As soon as he gets drafted, the guy's a stud. If he was that much of a stud that you thought, you would have had him on that 6-man list of people who dropped.
Right.
So, kid, I like the kid. From what I've seen, I did a lot of homework on him. I watched his first 24 in Buffalo. When he gets drafted, he's crying. He's super emotional. I like everything I see. He's also best friends with Ray Davis, the backup running back. And when they draft him, he goes, oh, man, it'd be crazy. And let me go get his name because I don't want to butcher it because they traded back in the 3rd round, of course. No, not Landon Jackson. Is it the 2nd round? No, TJ Sanders. Where the hell is this guy? There you go. So, Deion Walker. The guy, that's his teammate in college. So Maxwell Hairston's teammate is Deion Walker. And he's like, oh, man, I hope we draft him. Buffalo drafts that guy in the 4th round.
Wow.
So that's crazy. He kind of put the energy out there. This is a big guy. Like, he's one of those people that a 4th round pick from, and I know people get all crazy when they see highlights. Let me explain something to you. A highlight is a reason there are highlights. You're not going to see bad shit in a highlight reel. So you're going to see all the great shit, right? But all the technique and everything I seen, I was like, this guy is nasty. He's that old school, like mean defensive lineman that everybody needs. I'm like, yo, I really dig this guy. Who was their second round pick? So they get TJ Sanders, defensive tackle. Now he's more of a pass rushing defensive tackle.
Right.
Buffalo's biggest problem last year was stopping the run. So I was like, well, damn, you drafted Dwayne Carter last year, even though he dealt with some injuries. I like the kid a lot. So I sat back and I was like, well, damn, okay, that's 3 defensive tackles that I like now, right? Then they go and they get the defensive end, Landon Jackson, another guy that I like. So I'm like, okay, they're going defense heavy. Their first 4 picks are straight defense. 1 corner, because they got to put them across Benford, and then 3 defensive linemen. So I'm like, okay, they're prepared to go full blown on the defensive line and fix the problem.
Right, because they want to get pressure on the quarterback. Yep.
Exactly. Then they draft in the 5th round Jordan Hancock, defensive back, Ohio State. I'm like, well, shit, are they going to draft an offensive player? Because I've never seen the team just straight up draft defensive guys.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
So then they take, what's this guy's name? Tight end, Jackson Hawes, Georgia Tech. Now, I don't know a lot about Georgia. I had a friend who played for the Georgia Bulldogs. Obviously, Georgia Tech, not Georgia Bulldogs.
Right.
But he's a Georgia guy. So I said, bro, talk to me about Jackson Hawes. And he was like, bro, I like this kid a lot. He's old school. He's the kind of guy, he's more of a pass blocking, run blocking tight end. He's got good hands. He's just not your prototypical, kind of a big receiver tight end kind of guy. Right. He's your old school, grind it out and do what you got to do. I'm like, I don't appreciate the information. So 1 offensive player in this draft so far, and then they go draft another corner on Dorian Strong, Virginia Tech. I'm like, well, dang, right? Like, all we did was go 7th round pick. Oh, in the 7th round, they took Caden Prather, wide receiver, Maryland. So their biggest issue was the defensive line. They draft 3 of them. They need cornerbacks. They draft 3 of them. I'm like, well, damn. We make sure we drafted all this shit. I like what they did. Thing is, kind of like you, I know that a lot of fans wanted another wide receiver, but they took the kid out of San Diego. I'm forgetting his name. He's like a super speedster. So you drafted him to be that outside guy to put pressure on the deep ball. Right. That's your wide receiver. Then you got Khalil Shakir, who's your slot guy. Fans always want, well, I want this wide receiver. I want that wide receiver. Josh Allen is going to give you 30 points a game.
Yeah, you just
right.
Get him
if your defense, if your defense can, and that's another thing, if your defense can stop people to, let's say, 21-24, if you're averaging 30 plus, that means you're winning every game.
Yep.
So your defense has to step up because, listen, Josh Allen is a different animal. Love him, hate him, dislike him, whatever. This guy, when he's in pressure, he's really not in pressure. He just seems to make these crazy throws, jump over people, make all these crazy runs. So I like what they did. Do I think that it puts him over the edge? I don't want to say but at the same time, if you can get a healthy Joey Bosa, who's on that team now, who's playing on the edge, right?
Exactly. And then you got these guys to rotate.
And that's the thing, is Buffalo is really good at getting guys in and off that field to keep everybody fresh. And that's the pressure that they do really well. So this isn't getting a 34, 33, about to be 34-year-old Vaughn Miller. This is like a 28, I think he's 28, 29, Joey Bosa. Did he have the big injury? Yes. Did he, is he back and he looks 100%? Absolutely. I've seen him moving around. The guy looks amazing. Joey Bosa is a difference maker when he's healthy. Absolutely. Not being an every down lineman is going to be critical for his career going forward. And I think that he's going to put a lot of pressure on him. And you got AJ Epinesa over there. Gregory Rousseau was over there. So there's a lot. Talk to me, my brother. My bad. I overtalked.
No, you're good. But I agree. Like you said, that's why Buffalo went out and drafted all those defensive linemen and tackles, because now you can rotate them in and out, and you keep Bosa healthy. He's dangerous. Like you said, when he's healthy, he's wrecking havoc. And then if you're going to try to double him, you can't sleep on these other kids, because these kids can play too. So that's going to help them also develop and get better as well. Like you said, it's tough. Are they going to be that team? Obviously, Buffalo's still going to be in the mix, but you're always going to be like, okay, who are their two guys that you got to worry about? It's always going to be the Ravens and the Chiefs. They've been able to take care of the Ravens, but it's just like the Chiefs, for whatever reason, it's just that team that they haven't been able to get over the hump yet. But it reminds me a little bit like how Peyton Manning, it was always the Patriots. He could never get past the damn Patriots. But then that one year, he finally got past the Patriots, boom, and then he won. So it's like Buffalo's there. They've been there. They've been so close. I mean, they drafted it by need. They, offensively, they knew they're still good. They don't really have to do much. But like I said, it would be nice if they could have added a receiver. But they're going to be fine on the offensive side. It's the defensive side of the football, which is where they're going to have to make their money. And, corners, they're good. But listen, your bread and butter is your defensive line. If you're giving the quarterback only 3 seconds, you're pounding, you're hitting him. We've seen when the Giants did it to Tom Brady. He starts seeing ghosts. He starts seeing hits that aren't there, because when you keep pounding a guy like that, they don't like that. Quarterbacks don't want to be getting hit like that. And you hit them, even though today you're not really allowed to hit, but still, you get some hits on a guy, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's got a shot. Maybe they look at Amari Cooper. Maybe they consider bringing him in.
See, the thing is, they bring him in last year, and if I'm him, I was healthy and I barely got the rock, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that because Amari Cooper, he was class act the whole time. If you throw me the ball or not, I'm just here to win and help the team however I can. If I'm a decoy, I get that. But Amari Cooper is still Amari Cooper, and I want the ball. Like, you got to at least get me at least 3 to 5 looks a game, because, like, come on, man. I don't want to just be running routes out there.
True.
The one thing I can say, and I agree with you with the defensive guys putting the pressure on quarterbacks. Quarterbacks have internal clocks. So in the beginning of the game, it might be 4 seconds, 5 seconds, I got to throw. When you start putting that pressure on, that internal clock goes down. Okay, they're getting in this fast. I got to hike. My first read better be on his move, and at most my second. I can't look for my third.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think a lot of people get confused with that, and people get caught up with name value so much that it's the one thing I hate about sports is everybody, it's you got this guy and you got this guy. Okay, don't be a fan. Be someone who looks at it with an open mind, where you go, all right, let me see what they've done the last few years. Let me see if they've declined. Let me see how they are. You got guys who, like I said, with Von Miller.
Yeah, he was
a waste of space.
Yeah.
Like, before he got hurt, he was doing his thing.
Absolutely.
He got hurt. You're like, okay, the next year it might be a little rough.
Right.
The guy did nothing.
Yeah,
and then the third year, he's a waste again. And you're like, you know what? You got to sit him. And I know you don't want to sit a guy like Vaughn, but when you're in those kind of games and you know he's not fucking doing anything, you got to sit him.
Right. You can't play him. If he's not the player anymore, you can't play him.
So I get all that. I like I said, I like what Buffalo did. I don't love it. I like it. I think they did a lot of good things. The Jets, I love the offensive lineman. The tight end, I'm wishy-washy with. The rest of it, I was kind of, all right, cool, whatever. Love what the Giants did. And just for shits and giggles, the Seahawks, right? I like what the Seahawks did. I thought they had a very good draft. They drafted a lot of offensive linemen to protect Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that's the key. If you want to win, you got to protect him. Because you've seen when he's got protection, he looks like an all-pro. But when he don't, then you also see he looks like the dud that he was. So you got to give him – and he's got weapons because they brought weapons there. So, I mean, he's got an opportunity. But like I said, the key there is, can they protect him? If they protect him, you'll see him have a good year. If they can't, you're going to see the Darnold that nobody wants to see.
My only question to you, because I had to bring this up, and this is where I really want to transition to Seattle real quick. They drafted Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. Because
So
you know why?
I was like, wait, third pick in the third round pick, he took Jalen Milroe.
They did that because there's a lot of upside with that kid. He can sit back and learn because he doesn't have to come in right away because Darno is obviously going to be the guy that you got there. But you also know that potentially Darno is not the long-term answer there. So this kid Milroe, I don't think he's that great, but there's a lot of hype around the kid. And they're talking about, obviously, he's got a real strong arm and he's got all the intangibles. So it all comes down to, does that translate into the NFL? Yeah, you can have a strong arm, but can you make the throws that you need to make? In the college game, it's different than the pros. But I will say that a lot of people were really high on Milroe. So, I mean, I think if it pans out, Seattle got themselves kind of a steal in the third round by having him there because a lot of people thought maybe Milroe might go a little higher than that, even though I don't think I didn't think he was that good, but there was talk that he might get up there because teams like the Saints were debating it, and I don't know how much Pittsburgh was really interested, but there was rumors there. But obviously, there's a lot of teams that wanted or had a need at quarterback. So, I mean, listen, for Seattle, it's worth it because here's the thing. I don't think, Darno is going to be a long-term answer at all. But if the line is there and you protect him, he has a couple of good years. Now, when he's done, Milroe's ready to step right in. If he's the real deal, then it's just passing of the torch.
Yeah. And I mean, you got three, I think Darnold's 27 or 28.
Yeah, I mean, Darnold's still young, but he's been in the league for a while, though.
Yeah. Oh, I think he was 20 when he came in.
That's safe. He's like a journeyman now.
Yeah, he came in.
Finally established, but he's been a journeyman, basically.
Yeah, he had the really good year last year with Minnesota. Definitely got him a good payday. A lot of people were freaking out. First of all, if you look at what quarterbacks getting paid, he got 3 at $100 million.
I know.
And listen, $100 million is insane.
I know. Nowadays, that's right.
But if you look at 3 years at $100 million, that's really not a lot of money for quarterbacks right now.
I know. It's crazy.
And it's not even all guaranteed neither. Right?
No,
he got to get bonuses and all that.
That's the thing. They gave him a contract that was smart on their end because they boatloaded some money up front, but they also put a lot of incentives. Oh, you can make this much, but you've got to do this, and that. So we'll see. I mean, listen.
Go ahead.
No, listen. If he's going to prove either he was a one-hit wonder or he's the real deal, we'll see.
So what I was about to say is, if anybody here is a believer of the big ticket Sam Darnold, that's me. I've been on the Sam. Listen, I'm the engineer of the Sam Darnold train. When nobody wanted to talk about him, I was choo jump on. We're going Sam Darnold plane.
Right. Until it got derailed in the playoffs. Came right off the track.
We had a little derail. But what train don't fall off a track once in a while?
Yeah, there you go. Well, hopefully for his sake, he get back up and get on there again because his career has been derailed for the most part. But
listen, Sam Darnold's train was like Amtrak last year, right? It was a good train. People used it a lot. This year, he's going all out Hogwarts Express.
Yeah.
We're going to the castle, bro.
He better have the Hogwarts magic because if he don't, those birds in Seattle would eat him alive.
Listen, he's the Messiah.
Yeah. Well, we've seen the Messiah that's in New York City playing in West 4th Street. He ain't all that good either.
Yo, bro, did you see how he got manhandled with Brian Scalabrine?
Yeah, but that's because that's what he does to everybody else. He butchers the shit out of you. Now, he's got a decent shot. I've seen him, he makes some crazy shots. But he also, when he knows you're hitting shots, then he just starts butchering the shit out of you, and he backs in. He throws you away, throws up a fucking shot, then pushes you out of the way. Throws up. Yeah, dude, if you keep pushing me away, of course you're going to get shots. But I would hack the shit out of him. Fuck that shit.
That's what I told people. I know that, listen, it's a different generation. He's playing a lot of guys a lot younger than him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In our generation, I don't think people understand. Listen, I've said this. I've hacked the shit out of you. You've hacked the shit out of me. We
Absolutely.
brothers, right? Like, and I'm talking not like a little like, hi, God. No, I'm talking we hack the fuck out of each other.
Absolutely.
Imagine what we do to someone we don't like.
Exactly, and I'll give him credit. That guy, he's blowing up against young kids, but he's hacking the hell out of them, and those kids are like soft because they're like afraid of him. Because he talks reckless to these people. He talks crazy at people. It's crazy how he does. And people don't like. I'm surprised he kind of gets away with that down in West 4th Street because there's some hood kids down there. They don't play that shit. But I guess he's got enough clout of a name that they let him do his thing. But you're gonna do it to the wrong kid one day.
Listen, before there was a YouTube, and this is where I'm gonna leave you guys off. Before there was a YouTube. Before there was AOL.com, before there was the internet, my man was hitting bank shots over park fences. Not me, him, Coach Dave. I seen him hit them. I seen him shoot bank shots from fucking a handball court, which annoyed the fuck out of me because there's a big ass fence that's over. Like you gotta walk out the park, go into the handball court at 7th or 38th Street. Sorry, 38th Street across from KFC. I don't know if KFC is still KFC over there, but. Across from KFC, you got to hop the wall over there. I seen him hit those shots to the point where I would tell people, motherfuckers, don't let him shoot. If you're going to, let him run by. I'll toss his shit, or I'm going to hack the fuck out of him. And what do people do? Oh, he's fucking almost out of bounds. Let him shoot. Bam, 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 bam. So fuck the Messiah guy because all that bank shot crazy shit I seen with you first. That's facts.
Those were fun days back in those days. Yeah, it was crazy. That bank, I really took it to a whole nother extreme.
I hate your bank. I hate, if you were on my team, I loved it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, the greatest bank of all time. When I'm not on your team, man, fuck this guy's bank. So, listen, fuck the Messiah. I'm glad he got manhandled. And look, Scalabrini, the craziest shit I've ever heard. And this, I gotta leave it. We can talk about this all day. Scalabrini, if you listen to him, at one point he goes, "It's crazy. I'm closer to LeBron than you're closer to me." Right? Like he's letting him know, homie, you're not even in this caliber of athlete.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Came in.
I know, because listen, you can say what you want about Scalabrini, but the man made it into the NBA. You could say he's not a bum. You made the NBA, you can play. So him thinking that he could just beat any random NBA player, well, Scalabrini said, no, but let me tell you something. You ain't beating me. And he beat the shit out of him. Yo, Scalabrini was like, you want to hack? No problem. He hacked the shit out of him, too. That shit was hilarious, bro. That was
funny. It's funny because some of the crowd were like friends of the Messiah guy. And they're but you're hacking him. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? Look how he's fucking butchering me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was just a straight up hack fest. Neither one of them was playing any kind of defense. They both were beating each other up.
And the crazy part is, like, what people got to remember, like we can make jokes on the guy where he is on the rotation. The late great Kobe Bryant named him the White Mamba.
I know, that's crazy.
Kobe don't like nobody.
Nope. You don't.
I mean, don't like nobody. It's not a color thing. I just don't like none of you.
Right.
It's a competition thing. He didn't play with Scalabrini. Scalabrini wasn't his teammate.
No, yeah.
He liked his game and he respected his game and he started calling him White Mamba. That's not a self-given name. That's a name that he earned from arguably to me, he's a top 3 greatest of all time.
Yeah, he's up there for sure. Absolutely.
He earned that name. You could try to disrespect this guy, but look what he did to a Joe. He came in there, played your physical game, butchered the shit out of you, hit shots in his medium t-shirt jersey thing, because that jersey was fucking tight, like it was 25 years ago.
He's not in shape like he used to be. But that's what made it even funnier, because he came out, he probably hasn't balled in a while, bro, and he came out and just went off.
He came to West 4th on a mission.
Absolutely. There was no doubt. He was not losing that game, and he was not getting embarrassed. There was no doubt about that. Messiah had no idea what was coming right there. He called out the wrong guy.
Sometimes you gotta eat crow. If you're gonna talk crazy, Don't cry
Absolutely.
neither, because he butchering me. Motherfucker, that's what you do all day.
That's
crying.
exactly. That's the thing. If you're gonna do it, don't cry.
Facts. Listen, somehow we got fucking street basketball on the football podcast. Man, like, subscribe, share all that good shit. It's me, Coach David. Pete will be on here at some point. We got to give him a nickname. I don't want to call him Pete. It's my uncle. It feels kind of weird not calling him Uncle Pete. I got to give him a fucking name. Huh?
The Michael Jordan of men.
No. I know. I'm not coining him that. He don't get that. No way. He's like, maybe we'll call him the White Mamba. Like, he's the new Brian. He's the Scalabrini of the podcast. So listen. And then we got the newfound Jet fan. We don't know when he's coming on or when he'll be back. He's still upset with Travis Hunter going there. Word on the streets is he went out, left the podcast, and go get a Travis Hunter jersey, even though he didn't want him on his team. But it might have been a Jet jersey. We don't know what's going on. There's a lot of rumors going around. So for myself, the big bro, we out of here.